I'm Drew Stokesbary, a state representative from Auburn, Washington, and the ranking Republican on the House Appropriations Committee, which writes the state operating budget. Soon the legislature will pass the biennial budget that covers the years 2019 through 2021. And you may have heard that the state is considering some new or higher taxes, but I'm here to tell you that that is not necessary. While there's certainly some pockets of the state that are struggling, our economy in the aggregate is very strong. And a strong economy means higher revenues for the state. State tax collections were just $15 billion as recently as 2012, just before our governor took office. But they're now projected to be over $27 billion by 2023. A strong economy also means lower caseloads. As wages and employment grow, fewer people need government services. And that's a good thing by itself, but it also makes balancing the state's budget easier. So between our growing revenues and our shrinking caseloads, Washington is in the best fiscal starting position it's been since before the Great Recession. We can fund all of our shared priorities without new taxes or cuts to existing services. Just how good of shape are we in? Well, when session began this January, our projected four-year budget surplus was $770 million. And some years, we've entered session facing a deficit. And a few weeks ago, based on new data about demand for state services, we realized that we had overestimated future spending by another $700 million. And just the other day, the state's chief economist predicted an additional $1.3 billion of new revenue will be coming in over the budget period. So you take all that together, and that makes for a $2.8 billion budget surplus before we even lift a finger. And there's also some easy things we can do to make that surplus even larger. For example, we could leverage federal matching dollars or redeploy unused funds, all of which we've done in recent years, and that could free up another $1.3 billion. And there's some new ideas too, like reforming how the state handles its managed care payments, aligning appropriations to actual spending, and recognizing some pension synergies. And together these ideas would save another $1.2 billion. And so depending on which of these old ideas and new ideas you put into this upcoming budget, you could easily write a budget with at least $3 billion and even up to $5 billion available to spend over 4 years. And you can do that without raising taxes or cutting services. So what could our budget fund with $3 to $5 billion? Well, even on the low end of that range, say $3.5 billion, we could fund school employee benefits and fix the special education funding formula. We could make continued investments into higher education. We could finally begin fixing the governor's broken mental health system. We could increase fish stocks to help save the orca. We could do better at tackling homelessness. We could build countless capital projects around the state. And we could give raises to our state employees. And again, we can do all of these things without raising taxes. Not only are new taxes unnecessary to fund our priorities, but they're just unwise policy. As I mentioned a minute ago, state revenue is already increasing dramatically. 75% since the governor took office, to be exact. Has your own income risen by 75% in 6 years? Probably not. For most Washingtonians, their income has been growing by less than 4% a year. Also, raising taxes at this time risks repeating our mistakes of 2007 and 2008. Because according to a recent Wall Street Journal survey, 80% of private economists expect an economic downturn by as soon as 2021. And the Great Recession was so painful in part because government had assumed that the new boom times were the new normal. So we shouldn't unnecessarily grow state government on the eve of a recession or a downturn. So all told, Washington is doing pretty well. State revenue collections are growing very fast, much faster than even personal income. And this means that we're in the most favorable budget position we've ever been in since before the Great Recession. We shouldn't pass an unsustainable budget that risks future cuts, but we don't have to. We'll have an extra $3 to $5 billion available in budget resources, which is more than enough to responsibly fund our shared priorities without raising taxes or cutting services. I'm Drew Stokesbary, and thank you for watching.